What is happening, fishers? Apparently you're live. Andrew clicked the live button by accident. Anyway, I have no laptop in front of me yet, but I will talk some nonsense to you. I think you can see me. How was everyone's weekend? Fairly cold, winterish weekend in East London this weekend. But nevertheless, wasn't too bad. It was fishable some places. Anyway, how's everyone's fishing going? And for those of you who did enter the Bull Moria Monster Shad Classic, only a few days left, guys. Get those fishing. I see it's gone very quiet. I don't think the weather's been playing a part, so make sure you get these last couple of days in to get on the board or take away that bigger first place away from the gentleman. Monster Shad. So get those questions coming through. You have us for the next 30 minutes or so. So now is your chance to ask some questions and hopefully get some correct answers.
Yeah, so we went fishing over the weekend. Not very successful.
No.
Yeah, we went to Trefani. We tried.
Terrible.
It was terrible.
And at least managed a spotted gully.
Yeah, I managed a spotted gully, but the funny thing is that there was so much rip to the left that I hooked that fish and I landed it where you were fishing, like 200 meters down the beach.
Because I had to fish 200 meters down, because every time I threw, my lines would go over everyone else's lines.
Yeah,
It could be worse.
But I think Trefani's pretty much known for that.
Yeah, like Beyonce, to the left.
Yeah, it's hit and miss there. So, yeah, that is our story from the weekend. So, no video coming out anytime soon, guys, but we will be fishing sometime this week. So, Camelot says, Ole fishers, what's the temp by you guys?
Cold.
Yes, winter.
I don't know. It's winterish.
I think it was like a low of 5 today and a max of
fresh.
19.
Like 9, 15, 16 or somewhere around there.
Yeah. So it was quite cold today, guys. So guys, hit us up with those questions. Let's get those questions rolling in. We'd love to answer some questions. We're here inside Bull Moria for the next 30 minutes or so. And yeah, we can help you out. Any questions you've got about tackle, just let us know. Doesn't seem anyone wants to ask us questions tonight.
People watching.
Yeah, there's 15 people watching, but they don't want to ask us questions.
Or even like give us a like or something.
Yeah, hit us with some hearts. Come on, guys.
Ask me something. I get about 1 million messages on my phone a day. Surely someone can ask me something now.
Yeah,
I saw a heart at least.
I get about 1,000,001 questions a day. So, yeah, we can answer them live, which would be nice. See, Dean's getting another question coming through on his phone.
Yeah.
Andrew Freshwater. Evening, guys. What are your 2 best bycatches while species fishing?
There's been a lot of different bycatches. I think my definitely number 1 was probably about 3 years ago. In front of, I can't actually say because you'll be angry, somewhere on the East Coast. When I got that 6 kilo black on my little 11-foot fishing for shad.
Yeah.
I think that is a good one. And then that little silver I got the other day fishing for shad.
Okay, so for me,
yeah,
I'd say it's probably that silver I got in the surf at Klefani at night.
Yeah, that was a good bycatch.
Fishing for cob.
Fishing for cob.
Yeah.
But I think my best bycatch was, still my biggest raggy today that I got at Hamburg fishing for blacktails on a 1-0 hook. So that's probably my best bycatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Okay, Jade Meyer, when are you guys coming to Fish Garden Route? We'll be up that way December. Yeah, we're doing a massive trip down that side, hopefully. Where all are we going? I know we're going
George. I know Maxine and Anesh and George. Probably to J Bay, George. We'll check it out. Maybe Stray Spa. We're going to see wherever the bronzes are biting. We are going to be there. Anywhere from PE up to Cape Town side.
Yeah, so Stinker saying, what's happening for shows? How's it going, bud? Andrew Freshwater, lots of bycatches in the shad comp. Makes it interesting to see what fish will actually eat. Yeah, there was that big silver that came out the other day.
Nice silver. There's some nice cob come out. I saw a nice pig nose. The young lady got a very nice pig nose.
Yeah, yes, that is actually a very nice pig nose for Rushka.
Yeah.
Bevlin Naka, evening, guys. What plugs or spoons do you recommend for garrick?
Well, I like a spoon. I don't say spoon too much for garrick. Plug wise, the GT ice cream. brilliant spoon. I like the, depending on the conditions, I like the needle nose the best of lot, but you need a bit of a flatter C for that. Otherwise, check out Swindler, make some nice plugs. Yeah, there's quite a few plugs out there. I like the GT ice creams personally though.
Okay, so Camelot, any ways of rigging a full sod for long cast that doesn't damage the sod?
Yeah, so check out tomorrow's Night Tackle Tuesday. You'll see me do a demonstration on a double hook shad trace. I think that's probably the best way of not damaging a sod because it's got nice support throughout the whole sod. 2 long shank hooks. So check out tomorrow Night's Tackle Tuesday. Follow that double hook shad trace, and that's probably your best long distance sod casting way.
Okay, Benico, how's it, fishers? What's happening? How are you all? We good?
Fantastic, Benico. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so I see Benico and group of mates, they're trying to launch a YouTube channel. I think Fishing Bandits. So it's going to be good,
awesome.
Good to
when
have
do we
some,
feature on it?
Yeah, it's going to be good to have some extra channels that we can kind of give shout outs to on the live and stuff. If anyone does have a channel, let us know.
We can
put a little comment in there. We can direct people to your channel. Simon Morris, how's it from Queenstown? I was actually down in Seavale this past Saturday and came back this evening. I didn't bother about going fishing. It was flipping cold. London is different cold. I don't know if it says East London is a different cold.
Oh, I think Queenstown's worse, Simon.
Yeah, Queenstown's a much worse cold. I think East London's cold if you're from Durban.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
So come on, guys, get those questions rolling in. Let's see what we can answer fishing-wise tonight. I think everyone's on school holidays.
I think that's exactly. People are away on holiday, chilling out, braaiing, fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not grafting like we are.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Get those questions coming through. Oh, a couple of you on here. Please get those questions coming through.
What is your most used shad trace?
Okay, so once again, I've just cut them up. We've just done a Tackle Tuesday for tomorrow night. Shad trace, I'll just run through quickly. BMC number 5, offset, gold offset hook. 1 mil leader, 30 to 35 centimeters, a 1 mil leader to the hook snoot. Combination swivel or a single swivel, and the smallest piece of float as possible to float my bait. And that is it. Very, very simple shad trace. I don't do wire for shad at all. And the reason why I don't, if you are following the shad competition, the 3 biggest shad in the competition were all caught not on wire. It does make a difference when it comes to those big shad. It can put those big shad off. So 1 mil, yes, you might lose a fish, 1 out of 30, 1 out of 40 fish. But you're definitely going to get those bigger bites on mono instead of wire.
Okay, Benico says, we were at Morgan's Bay double mouth on Saturday. Water was freezing, small stuff during the day, but it turned on at night. Broke a 3.0 BKK Sharky on something. It broke my sinker loose first bite, and second bite it pulled me flat. I set the hook and it just went slack.
But your sinker off. It's probably very good chances of reggie then. Reggie's likely to your sinker line.
Tricot Wigs Africa, David Britt's YouTube channel, fishing and hunting channel, some good cob videos and big GTs offshore Sodwana. Also some Transkei estuary fishing. Check it out. All right, guys, so check out David Britt's YouTube channel. Let's get some extra followers. Subfisher has got a question regarding tying sinkers. Losing a lot of them on cast. Tired of seeing sinker flying into the heavens. Usually use a Palomar knot to tie them on.
Is it your knot that's breaking or your sinker line that's breaking? That's most important. I think either way, just up the diameter, the thickness of your sinker line slightly. I think that's where the problem's coming from. Your sinker line is just a bit too thin.
Yeah, what sinker line are you actually using? Yeah, because it might be way too thin. I think that's where the first problem might come in. Matthew Small also said he tried Dacron yesterday, worked, but a bit of a pain tying every time. Is there perhaps an easier method? Thicker
sinker line.
Thicker sinker line,
yeah. That's it.
He says using 20-pound mono. That's why.
Yeah, it's 20 pound. You must worry about the diameter in the pound. Maybe just what size sinker are you throwing? That's the next thing to question. So, on a 3 ounce, I wouldn't throw anything less than a 0.5. On a 5 ounce, I like to throw a 0.6. On a 7 ounce, I like to throw 0.7. So depending on your
He's using a 0.43 diameter and a 4-ounce sinker.
way too thin. That's the
Yeah.
problem. There's your problem right there. So you need to go on a 4-ounce sinker. I'd be throwing 0.5 minimum, probably 0.6. I'd say 0.6 to be safe.
Okay, Keegan Gunn, how's it, guys? How much is the bag for traces? Well, there's a couple different bags for traces. There's one from Sensation, which I really like.
Yeah, the blue ones.
Then there's the Fish SA ones.
I think they're about 200 Rand upwards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
200 to 400, 500 Rand, depending on the bag.
Yeah, there's also the Nomad ones,
Yeah.
but we won't go there.
Those are, yeah.
How do fishermen know what type of fish is on the hook? I think you'll just know after years of experience.
You do, like each fish fights in its own way and has its own characteristics. But I can promise you there's no fisherman in the world that's going to be 100% right the whole time, unless he's targeting one particular type of fish. We get caught out all the time. It happens. But you can, from the way they bite and in the way they fight, like carp have a very distinctive head shake. Shad have their very erratic action. You can feel a shad a mile away. There's no mistaking if it's a shad. I did mistake one other night for a baby black steelmass actually. But carp are very distinctive, you can, in my eyes. And then just from the way the fish takes off, I know a lot of guys claim that they're hooking black steelmass and they probably hooking spotted gullies most of the time that are stepping them up. But there are distinct ways. Obviously fish have head shakes, sharks have a bit of a tail slap, not too much head shakes, but the sharks can fool you sometimes with a bit of a head shake. So yeah, the more fish you catch, the more you'll get in tune with what fish you are catching. Be able to tell you before it comes out. Andrew's just shot off to go get some trace bags to show you. That's my new favorite one he's got on top.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so I'm back. So, and we need to get a Rovex TFX 8000 for Stinker. Okay, so this is the one trace bag from Fish SA that I really like. Inside here, you've got shark traces, ray traces. Then this side here, you've got scratching traces and edible traces. This bag here closes up quite nicely. It's 359 Rand. Then you've got your edible trace pouch. This one is 249 Rand. And inside you've just got the plastic sleeves. So also a very nice trace bag. Okay, we're getting out that Rovex TFX 8000. It's a beautiful reel, guys. They are selling like hotcakes. So if you are in the market for one, I suggest purchasing ASAP. Okay, Benico, chasing big shad in this competition has been an absolute mission. PE seems like the way. Yeah, there's some big fish that have come out, hey Benico. Stinker, will that reel fit with 12-foot precision? Yes.
It will. You could probably go a bit smaller for a 12-foot, but I think you might have sent me a private message fishing Mona on it. That's why I suggested the 8,000, because the 6,000 I don't think would have enough line lay for Mona.
That's true. John Brown saying, how's it, chaps? How's it, buddy?
John?
Hope you well. Fishing Port Elizabeth, how's it, guys? How's it, buddy? Hope you well. So did everyone check out our Mazeppa Bay video? What do you guys think? I know we had a solid time up there. We caught some really good fish with some solid mates. So let us know if you enjoyed that video.
Yeah, check that video out.
John Brown, nice shad, PE side, up to 7 kgs. Yeah, there's been some monsters coming out there, John.
We had as big as the 7.5 so far for the comp.
Yeah.
There's some good 6 kilo fish and 5 kilo fish that came on as well.
Fishing Port Elizabeth says he's always good. Stinker says was his top video, really enjoyed watching it. Jade Meyer, do you guys think fish know if you fish with mono or braid?
No. Unless you're fishing crystal clear water and they can see it, they wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah, so it's like this. It goes back to that same argument. Like a fish doesn't know that you're fishing with an Assassin Horizon versus old Perglass rod.
Yeah.
They don't know the difference, but it is about the experience at the end of the day.
Yeah, braid does make it. Depends what type of fishing you're doing, but braid is definitely for me the way forward.
100%. Fishing Port Elizabeth, 7.5 kgs, that's a bus. Stinker, the TFX has a screw-in handle if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it does.
Yes. King Mills saying, how's it? John Brown, Mazeppa can be hit and miss. You guys put the hours in, so always get something. Enjoyed the video. Great to see the excitement. Yeah, but that's just a special place. Mazeppa is a really special place. So we'll be back.
100% this year still.
Yeah, we'll definitely be back. We have to. I mean,
I think as soon as it warm, October, November, when it gets a bit more sharky there, we're definitely gonna go give it another bash.
So guys, let's get those questions rolling in. This is a very impressive reel for the price.
A little bit bigger than what a normal 10,000 is, I'd say. So you're pretty much looking at about a 10,000 size reel there, from judging by it size-wise.
Benico says, Mazeppa video was solid. I forgot to comment as I've been watching the vids on my TV whilst eating. Some decent garrick. Love seeing the edibles.
Yeah, there was some nice garrick. We got some cob, but unfortunately they didn't make the video. The footage was horrible, but there were some cob that came out as well. So we had a very successful trip.
John Brown saying, good luck, Owen. I'm not sure if he's meaning Owen Richter.
Yes, can only be. Okay, guys, get those questions coming through.
I like this reel.
Not bad at all.
No, not bad. Not too shabby. Come on, guys. It's been very quiet tonight. It's like everyone's on school holidays.
In chill mode.
Yeah, we need to get those questions rolling in so that we can get some answers. Is that reel better than the Big Boss? No.
No, the Big Boss is a better spec reel. There's the Big Boss's baby brother.
Stinker, is the Assassin Surf Master number 4 a good rod?
The Surf Master's not a bad rod. For its money, you're getting good value for money. Not a bad rod at all. I don't think so. Assassin always, all their rods are decent. The Surf Master also been a good rod.
Okay. George Africa saying, good evening, fish shows.
How's it, George?
Albert Besson, I bought 5 years back a Saragossa 10,000 and 14 months back to 14,000. The 14,000 rust and make bubbles in the paint. I take very much care of my reels because they are so expensive. Yeah, that's not a good thing. But sometimes if you get scratches from the rocks, it can affect the paint. I'm not saying that that is the case, but yeah, it can happen. It's happening to my twin power actually in a funny spot. So not everything is 100% perfect. Fishing Port Elizabeth, brew catching a geelbeck off the sides is cool. Yeah, Gower got a lacquer fish there off the sides. The Mazeppa Bay video was amazing, but you guys said how's it fish shows a lot, which was very funny. Yeah, it's our catchphrase.
That's our thing. Yeah, we probably say it too many times, but it's so imprinted in us.
Yeah.
So how's it fish shows?
Yeah, it's like every single greeting and message we get across, or every single time we've changed spots, there was a how's it fish shows. 100%. And yes, I know someone still commented saying we use that a lot, but that's just us.
Yeah.
Will 19.4 mono be fine for the precision?
19.4 pound.
Pound.
I'm assuming 10. Yeah, perfect. 10 kilos to about 8, 9 kilos, pretty much perfect for that.
So Camelot, any knowledge on the bush to bearing upgrade on the SL50? The Grand Wave has a bearing on the spool speed adjuster. The SL50 has a push there.
That I can't answer, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I'm not that technical on those reels, unfortunately. So I'm going to give it a miss on this one. I will give you the wrong information.
Albert Basson, my conclusion is the new Saragossa is not the same quality, or am I wrong? I think you are wrong to a degree.
Yeah, listen, fortunate enough, I've had mine has gone through the wars, and I've had no problems with my Saragossa. The big upgrade of the new Saragossa, I know, is the anti-reverse on the new Saragossa is a lot better than the old one, from my personal experience. You might just have, I can't be exactly what happened to your reel, but there are occasions you might just have a bad reel. Something might have gone wrong there. But in all honesty, I think there's less returns on the new Saragossa than the old one. I could be mistaken though. It's just from seeing in store.
Andrew's thirsty. All right, so we've got a comment here. George Africa says, Mazeppa was a solid video. Well done, Oaks, but we want to see more of Andrew catching fish. Everyone else is pulling and Andrew is filming. Well, that's not necessarily the case at Mazeppa Bay because I just blanked.
Yeah. It was not Andrew's time to shine.
Yeah, I just blanked. I got one bite the entire time on my shark rod and it snapped me up.
But it would have been the biggest fish of the trip. Yeah,
100% would have been.
We saw him swimming up and down past Andrew's bait, and he was a solid 200 kilo fish. So, That's the way it goes, guys. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Creason Naidu, any new Akuma rods releasing soon on the high end side? I think we will know closer towards
October, November. Normally before December they'll push out.
Yeah.
I think there was talks of a top end rod coming out. I don't know. I haven't any inside information yet though.
Okay. Beniko Singh, what knots do you all tie from the swivel to the hook with thick mono, 1.1 mil and above? Figure of 8. Sabiki Man, Saragossa or Saltist? Saragossa. Stinker, Rockaway or Precision, which rod would you recommend for scratching? Rockaway.
Rockaway is a bit softer.
Bit softer. Goeienaand Fishers, how's it bad? King Mills, so Garrick can only be targeted on lures or live bait?
But most of the time, there are occasions the guys do get them on bait. I wouldn't go target a Garrick on a normal dead bait though. Like, chances are very, very slim. It does happen though. I walked past a youngster the other day and he caught one on a pink prawn. So it does happen, but live bait is king, lure is king. Garrick eat live fish. They'll eat bait if they need to, but so match the hatch and catch them what they're chasing.
Okay, sorry for spamming here. I sometimes get my braid wrapped around the first eye during a cast. 40-pound braid and 120-pound leader. That shouldn't really be happening.
If it's wrapping, then it could be your knot. I don't know what knot you're tying. Your knot might be slapping against your eye and causing a bit of a wrap there. Also, just make sure that your last bit of retrieve, your braid is tight on your reel. A lot of guys, the last 2 or 3 meters, they just wind the handle, let the braid lie loose in the reel and causes a bit of a, almost like a wind knot effect and wraps the top eye. I had it happen to me on Saturday, so it does happen.
Keegan Gunn, what hooks would you recommend for raggies here in East London?
12-0 BKK, 12-0 inline circle. That's my hook of choice for a raggie.
100%. I think if you're out of East London and targeting some bigger fish, maybe a monster circle.
Yeah.
But it's not really necessary down here.
12-0 is quite capable, I think.
Okay, Jade Meyer, do you guys have a go-to brand regards of reels, like just by Shimano or Dawa, etc.?
No, we pretty much, between us, I think we've got every brand of reel. We've got Dawas, we've got Shimanos, we've got Akumas. Yeah.
So my go-to shark reel is Akuma.
Yeah.
I love the Tesoro. I think it's a brilliant reel. And then obviously the Twin Powers.
Your edible reel.
My edible reels.
Cross, smaller non-aids.
And then Dean's got Saragossa, Stratic, Slammers, Salinas.
Saltiga.
Yeah,
I've got all of them.
Yes. Will we have this meeting after the shad competition? I hope so. Yes, of course you will. Every single Monday. Without fail, we are here. Will the Rockaway 13-foot be able to catch small grey sharks about 5 kgs?
100%. 100%. You'll have fun. We catch those on 9-foot rods and we have fun with them.
What's your take on the Akuma Precision 14-foot 6? What fish best targeted?
14-foot 6, I think it was 14-foot 6. I think that's a 4 to 6 ounce, if I'm not mistaken. I think it might come in a different. I think it's a nice edible rod that you can even target some smaller non-heads on it. Nice cob rod, spotted gullies, where it also munching away. There's some smaller reggies.
Can you slide a weighted spring clip on braid?
You can.
They make braid slides now.
You need a braid slide. So the reason why it's difficult to slide on braid, because braid has no stretch. You need to stretch in the mono to get the slide to slide along the line. You need that bouncing effect. So the guys that are sliding on braid now, it is a bit more difficult. They pretty much have an elastic tied from their sinker up to a swivel or a clip. So when they create that action with the rod, there's a bit of bounce in the braid, causes braid, so it lets your slider slide down. But you do need that piece of elastic to get it right. Or a very strong side wash in the surf and stuff like that with a blade that can assist to get your braid out. But you're going to have a lot more wrap-ups on braid, so you're going to have to practice it.
Okay, what hook size, leader size, and wire breaking strength would be good for grey sharks? I think watch Tackle Tuesday tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think we're going to run through bite trace.
For small greys, big greys is a total different story. It depends on what size greys you're targeting. You're targeting pups or 300-kilo fish. It's a big difference between the tackle you're going to use.
Okay. Okay, what will the heaviest casting weight rod in the 13-foot range paired with a Penn Battle 3 5000? guess casting weight in a 13-foot rod.
You don't want to go heavy with the 13, so you shouldn't be casting more than 3 or 4 ounces with 13 foot.
Aren't a lot of them 2 to 4 ounce,
2
Jared?
to 4 ounce, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's all you need. You don't want to be throwing 5 ounce sinkers on a get a longer rod. Yeah, I think 2 to 4 ounce on a 13 foot sufficient, especially with that smaller reel like that. 5,000, I wouldn't be throwing 7 or 8 ounce sinkers with a 5,000. You're going to hurt that reel.
Okay. George Africa, guys, what would you choose between a Shimano Nasky 5000 or Miraval 5000 for heavy lure fishing?
They're pretty much one and the same thing there almost.
Miraval's supposed to be better sealing.
Sealing, yeah, it's just a bit better sealed. So they're pretty much, the internals are the same. I think the Miraval's just sealed. For heavy lure fishing, I might look at a different reel. Sorry, that's just my onside. Maybe maybe a Stratic or something that's a bit built for heavier lures. Those are both very finesse style reels. So those are pretty much for throwing lighter lures under ounce, 1.5 ounce. So maybe look at a different reel. That's my honest opinion.
Okay, Akshav Ramsewak, does the braid burn if your slide runs up and down when you hook up?
Yeah, well, if the braid's wet, it's not going to burn, but it can burn off. So you can't use braid that's too thin for sliding either. You need to use a decent thickness braid. It will, if you hook up, it probably will burn off, depending how much effort you put into it. Just snapping up.
Okay, saying shot. Okay, guys, so we've got about 10 minutes left of this live session, so we've got a couple more questions to go. Will 300 meters of 0.26 braid be enough for the TFX 6000?
6,000. 0.26. Yeah, you probably need a bit more braid than that. We're going to see if we can find a 6,000 quickly. I'm just going to run away quickly. I've never actually opened the 6,000 yet.
Okay, thoughts on the BG MQ 10,000? I think it's a brilliant reel, that. My only issue with the MQ, the monocoque design, is that you've basically got that section here that you can't take off and service yourself. That's my only concern. I think you have to send the reels back to Dawa. I might be wrong, Adine, but
yeah, the monocoques you can't service.
You can't
yourself,
open and service yourself. So that's my issue with them. Albert Basson, is water temp influencing big shad as the water in Western Cape and Eastern Cape is much colder than here in Richards Bay? Lots of grey small shads in St. Lucia.
Yeah, I think in what the guys are saying in Natal is normally summertime you get the very big shad. Listen, I saw some very big shad coming in Natal though, but that's pretty much their primary months for their big shad. I think, listen, we haven't got too many big shad around East London this year, but like if you look at the last 2 years, we've got some massive shad out here. Just from us fishing, the big shad have been a bit scarce around East London, but I think it just depends. Every year is going to be different. I know I've caught like what I call a big shad this year. Last year I got 9, the year before I got 13 big fish. They just seem to be a bit quieter this year. We stayed a bit of a bad shad run in East London this year. Just going back to the TFX. So the TFX takes 250 meters or 0.35. So 0.27, you're probably looking at, I'm guessing, about 400 meters. So you need some backing on that.
Okay, so Kelvin de Klerk says the Nasky and Miraval disappointed him in the salt water. He says rather get the Stratic. I tend to agree.
Exactly what I was saying. That I'd keep those. If you are fishing off a boat, in the rivers and things like that, perfect. Where the reel's not going to get splashed and wet. Fantastic, but those are more finesse style, very lightweight, designed for finesse style fishing.
Yeah, so Session says, thanks. Let's go back to that Dawa BGMQ.
Yeah.
Sealed?
Sort of sealed. It's not a sealed reel. So the MQ, no. The Saltus is a bit better sealed than the BGMQ.
It is it
is monocoque design, which does give it some sort of sealing, but it's not actually
it's not 100%.
It doesn't have seals per se. It's not as well sealed as a Saragossa or a Slammer or things like that. But then again, it is not in that price range. It's not a sealed reel. So
correct.
It is a very good reel. The only problem, the servicing can become an issue. I know a lot of guys have made their own tools to open the reel. I don't think it's a bad reel. I think it's quite nice. I know Mousy really enjoys his reel.
And I think it looks good.
Yeah, it looks good. If you look after it, I wouldn't get it as a wading reel. But if you're spinning off the rocks and your reel's not going to get wet, I think a fantastic reel.
So George Africa is asking which Stratic, the SWB or the FL?
SW.
for me, the SWB.
Much stronger reel.
Yeah.
We are talking heavy lure fishing here. If I was flicking little flukes and things around like that, then the Miraval or Substain or something, it would be a bit of a reel.
Okay, which are good spots in KZN for garrick, targeting them on lure and live bait? Not really familiar with KZN.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't know too much of KZN. I know I've got some nice garrick, Warner Beach area, Toti, off the surfing Toti, Winkelspruit. I've got some very nice areas of Winkelspruit off the front of that swimming pool there. It's a very nice, easy place to put a live bait out. And I think the whole of South Coast, you can get some nice garrick in the till.
Okay, Albert Basson, I weighed a lot. Is the Saragossa good enough for that?
100%.
More than good
My
enough.
Saragossa swims.
Absolutely. What about the Ultegra 5000? Well, there's that new Ultegra. That's not a bad option.
Yeah. But
new-
also, again, lightweight reels. My personal belief, listen, there are guys that fish light reels and surf. I'm fishing light, I mean, heavier lures in the surf and things like that. I'm going to go straight to Saragossa. I don't mind that extra 30 or 40 grams on the reel, of extra weight. It's not going to kill me. I'd stay away from those lights. I'd keep those for the boat or inshore fishing or off a boat or river fishing. That's my personal point of view on that.
Okay. Calvin de Klerk, the BGMQ has served me well so far for 4 years. Yeah. BGMQ's, like we say, it's a beautiful reel. George Africa, when are they coming in? It's for a lighter rod, more finesse. It's for pier or rocks. You're talking about the Ultegra, the 5000.
That's the new ones.
Yeah, the new ones are in stock.
Are they already? Yeah. Okay, guys, get those questions coming through. We're running out of questions here quickly.
We're running out of questions, but we're also running out of time, guys.
Yeah, so we're going to make a move soon. I'm hungry.
George Africa, yes, they are on the website. All right, guys. Well, I think that's a wrap on tonight's live session. So thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. We appreciate all you guys. And I guess we'll catch you all next week.
Tight lines, screaming reels. Cheers.
Cheers.